bring you good tidings of great joy. I like that. Great joy. I may be projecting, but I think joy is one of the most sought after, desired commodities in the world. Because if you think about it, pretty much every sales advertisement, sales pitch, sales scheme, con artist is trying to sell you joy. You say it's, this, that, or the other, but the root underneath those is, get this, it'll make you happy. That's what we want more than anything else. This week we light the third candle, the candle of joy for Advent, following the first two of hope and peace. And you may notice that the third candle is a different color. Why? Well, if you look it up on Google, all you'll find is a bunch of things talking about how the third candle is about rejoicing and it's about joy. And it shouldn't be a somber color because it's the joy candle, which really doesn't explain why it's a different color, because we're anticipating the coming joy brought to us by the Lord. Is that really more important than the hope of the coming Lord? The peace between us and God? I don't think it is to God. But I think it is to us. It's more important to us because we'll sacrifice hope and peace for joy. We'll sacrifice love for joy. We'll sacrifice just about anything for even the illusion of joy. Smile now, cry later. Buy now, pay later. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. Peace is gone. All hope is lost. We're going to die. Let's have fun. If we can just have fun now, then don't worry about tomorrow. And that's not the message that Jesus was talking about when he said, don't worry about tomorrow. There is a reason that antidepressants are the number one prescribed drug. We talk about utopia, going back to paradise, Paradise Lost. Sci-fi movies almost always go from one extreme to the other. Either everything is wonderful and peaceful and all the world's problems have been solved. There's no death, there's no hunger, there's no, problem until the problem that the book or movie is based on arises. Or it goes to the other extreme. We have no hope. Everything is horrible and it only gets worse from here. Because we're not really looking to go back to paradise. The curse has messed us up. It's messed up the world. We have pain, misery, drudgery. And we want the joy that comes when we don't feel those things. So we think, go back. Go back. Take away the pain. Take away the misery. Take away the drudgery. And we'll have the joy. But that's not really entirely true. Because the joy comes from the walk in the garden, not the garden itself. It was Adam's walk in the garden with God. It was Adam and Eve's relationship with their Creator, with Daddy, that brought joy that was replaced with pain and misery and drudgery when the curse fell. So we'll do anything to pursue not feeling the pain, the misery, and the drudgery. If we can't produce happiness, pleasure at this moment, then maybe we can at least alleviate, escape from, or obliterate those things that remind us that something's not right, that something's missing. Great joy. Glad tidings of great joy. Not a little joy. Not moments of pleasure you're going to pay for later. Not a temporary escape, but great joy unto all the earth, unto all the people. It's not really a different color. But if it was, on my personal Advent candle, if I just did it my way, I would have this one be black. Because we chase hope and we chase peace. But I don't think we do nearly as much to kill ourselves and others chasing after anything more than pleasure and joy. To remind me that my hope is in the coming King. My peace is with God. And my joy is also from Him. Jesus, God, wrapped Himself in His man suit. Used it again. So that He could walk in our shoes and do what we were supposed to do and never could. And the God of joy and peace became a man acquainted with sorrows on our behalf. Died in our place. A miserable, painful death. So that we don't have to. So that we can have joy. Joy that isn't shaken by our circumstances. Joy that isn't temporary. Joy that only gets better with time. It doesn't have to be paid for later. Joy that doesn't come at the expense of another, except it did. The expense of Jesus, who paid for it. Because joy isn't free. We owed a debt we couldn't pay. Joy is not merely the absence of the effects of the curse. Unless you go all the way to the number one effect of the curse. We are born with something missing. A separation between us and Daddy, our Creator. It's missing. That relationship makes us whole. That relationship is our joy. It's our answer. We have a hope, a sure expectation. As sure as the sun will rise tomorrow, our God will continue to love us today, tomorrow, and forevermore, and He will finish the work that He started. We have peace, not the absence of the storm, but we are no longer enemies of God. That peace, that doesn't matter what happens to me, I know what's going to happen. Excuse me, I'm getting choked up. I know what's going to happen in the end. You can do whatever you need to. It's going to be okay because this is temporary. And God's going to finish it. And those two things, understanding them, the only result is joy. Regardless of if we're feeling the drudgery, the misery, and the pain of the curse. It can't stop us. It can't hurt us. It can't kill us because He's not done. And it's that relationship is restored. Whole. No longer empty. No longer needing. No longer trying to figure out what on earth is going on and is there any hope of peace. It's here. We can have joy today because Jesus came. The work is done. It is completed. He did it all. He was enough. We don't have to add to it, and we can't detract from it. Our failures will not take it away. There's another reason to rejoice because the burden is no longer on us. If you have fallen short, welcome to the club. We all have. But for the joy of relationship with us, of seeing us restored to Daddy, Jesus went to the cross. And because He went to the cross, we can have the joy of restoration. Relationship. As far as the curse is found, its effects no longer determine the course of our lives. That is a reason to rejoice. Rejoice in Jesus, in the Lord, and what He has done. That He loves us as we are, not as we should be. That He loves us enough not to leave us the mess we are. That He loves us enough to never forsake us. That He loves us enough to finish what He started, no matter how much we mess up. We can rejoice in who He is and what He's done. And because the Holy Spirit within us, who has sealed us as His, rejoices within us, we rejoice through the power of the Spirit that rejoices. And then we have hope and peace. And we don't have to be anxious in anything. But with a thankful heart, we know we can run to Daddy with all that we need. So if you know Jesus, you can have joy no matter the circumstances. And our joy may not be complete yet. But like they were waiting the coming of the Messiah, we await His return. And He is coming back to take us home and finish the work that He has said is done. Rejoice. Rejoice. Again, I say rejoice. There is a hope. There is peace. There is an answer. It started with Daddy's love for us, making a way to fix the fall. It made itself manifest in a little baby that we couldn't even make enough room for to keep him out of the barn. He grew to be a man who had the answer to every need, hurt, and problem we have. And we rejected Him and killed Him for it. And death couldn't hold Him. And He rose and said, I'll make my home in you if you'll let me. So let us prepare room for Him in our lives, in our hearts. Get off the throne of our own will and let Him reign. And He will give us joy. You don't have to buy it, seek it, manipulate it, stomp on anybody else for it. You don't have to hurt yourself and others to try to find it. He's already done it. You just have to get out of the way. Let Him have your heart. God bless you.